Hey everyone, this is Randy from BibleBuyingGuide.com. Today I'm taking a look at the Thomas Nelson KJV Preaching Bible in brown premium calfskin leather. Here's the back of it. It's a verse-by-verse layout, 72,000 cross-references, 2-color typesetting, 11.5-point font using the Comfort Print text designed by 2K Denmark, and premium high-contrast paper, ultra-flexible binding, and 3 satin ribbons. Let's take a look at it. First, let's see. It's $139.99 manufacturer suggested retail price. So let's see what we got here. This is the brown calfskin. I keep wanting to call it mahogany. I don't know why. I do. I just call it mahogany. It might as well be called mahogany now because I've called it mahogany every time I've talked about it. But this is a nice brown, and this is softer to the touch than the black calfskin. This comes in black and brown. And the New King James Preaching Bible comes in the exact same covers, and they feel exactly the same as the King James. This one is soft. I love the feel of this. Between the two, I like touching this one better. It's got a nice grain. It is smooth, but you can see a little bit of grain in there, and you can feel it with your fingers. So it's not just smooth. It looks really nice. And then, nothing print on the front, perimeter stitching, and then on the spine we have Holy Bible, KJV, Thomas Nelson, and some spine rib indications. Now, all of this is just printed on there. It's not stamped. And then inside we have a synthetic liner. But I tell you what, I thought that was real leather. The only reason I know that it's synthetic is someone asked me, and I always do what you call gimba, go to the source. So I went to the source and asked Thomas Nelson, and they said, nope, synthetic. You could have fooled me. And if they had told me leather, I'd never known the difference. That might as well be leather. But edge-lined. And then KJV Preaching Bible. So there is our presentation page. And then we start here into our Bible. Now this is 39 GSM paper. That paper is easy to turn, decently opaque, more opaque than most Bibles that I preach from. And very, very opaque. And this font is dark. That's a nice dark font. See, designed by 2K Denmark, printed in China. It doesn't feel like a cheap Bible at all. It's a good quality Bible. And let's just go through here. The fingers are sticky fingers. And then there is our layout. Now we have the same blue, greenish, bluish. I don't know what color that is, but it's a blue. The same blue for the highlights, for book names, section headings, chapter numbers, verse numbers, and then the pilot number in the footnotes at the bottom. Looks really sharp, really dark. 11.5-point font. It does read a touch smaller than that to me, but it's still a large print. I have no issues preaching from this. I've preached from this a few times, and let's see, we've got about 10 words across. This is about ideal for me. I like this width. I like having the footnotes in the bottom because you don't have to share horizontal space. And it gives the text room to breathe. Now this is verse by verse all the way through, so there's no other formatting like you would see in the New King James. The New King James has poetry set apart and has letters set apart, even though it is still verse by verse. I'd like to see that done in the King James. That would just be pretty. I'll show you a comparison real fast to show you what I'm talking about. So here is the New King James Preaching Bible. Now this is the black. KJV will come in that black also. So there is the poetic layout. It just looks nice. I would love to have a KJV with that poetic layout. That's pretty. But that's not what I'm talking about today. But this thing is really easy to read from, easy to preach from. The paper, the thick paper, is easy to grab and turn. And there's not a lot of show through at all. Not much at all. So I don't get distracted. The print it does have line matching. But now the paper is opaque enough that the line on the back side of this line doesn't gray that line. So it doesn't look dirty or muddy or anything like that. It's just pretty. It's easy to read. Now this does include the Thomas Nelson footnotes, which I'm not 100% sure, about where they came from exactly, as far as to which editions and traditions and things like that. But I do know that they do include a glossary in the footnotes. Rather than having the glossary in the back, they put the glossary right here on the page, which I like. I'm glad they do that. And there's the satin ribbons. This is a black letter edition. So when they say two color, they're talking about the black and the highlights. So it's a black letter. The paper's excellent. I love preaching from this. And then, now it doesn't have a lot of space for notes or anything like that, but this is good paper for highlighting if you want to highlight. And then in the back, we don't have anything. It ends there. We have the page that talks about the 2K Denmark design for the font, for the comfort print text, and then that's all. I do like maps, but I'm a map guy, probably in the minority there. So I don't know that I would use it for my only Bible, but I do like preaching from this better than I preach from, well, this other one here. Let me show you. This is the one that I've been preaching from the most lately, and that is the Premier Collection Giant Print KJV, and you can see the size. This one is about the same thickness as that one, maybe thicker, maybe a touch thicker, but it's because the paper is thicker. This is 36 GSM, whereas this is 39, and then here's how they compare, and we'll measure that one here in a minute. So this is a little bit more premium paper, I think, but this is also premium paper. It does feel like premium paper. And then, of course, this has, the goatskin leather and the goatskin and the leather liner. And then you're going to have the red, which I love that red. See, but you don't have the advantage of, like this one with the footnotes in the bottom. So you have that horizontal space that I was talking about here that you have to share. So you can see the difference. That's not bad, though. I mean, I'm not worried about that. Where it really matters to me more than anything is in a poetic setting, which this doesn't do. So it's not as big of a deal to me. But they're both great Bibles. Excellent, elegant, excellent. I kind of like turning this page better than I like turning this page. But now, if you're looking for like a more all-around Bible that you could use for more things, this one does have a good concordance, and it does have the Thomas Nelson or the Zondervan maps in the back. I love those colors. So it depends what you're looking for. If I had this one, I probably wouldn't buy this one just for the paper. But if I have both, I'm going to preach from this one more. And if I didn't have one, it really would come down to whether or not I needed a concordance in maps. That's what would help me decide if I needed a concordance in maps. So let's measure. We've got 6.5 by 9 3/4. 6.5. Did I do that right? Yeah, 6.5. Yeah, something like that. In that range. It's all good. It's in that range. Close enough for government order. About 1.5 inch thick. And we might as well weigh it. We might as well weigh it. I'm not sure if you can see these numbers on this scale, but we'll see what our weight is here. Comes in at 2 pounds 8 ounces. 2 pounds 8 ounces. I think I said that. 2 pounds and 8 ounces for the New King James, and it's actually 211. New King James is 211. This is 2.8. So let's do a couple more comparisons. Another Bible that I would like to compare to is the Minister's Bible. KJV Minister's Bible. These are made to be a companion set. This one is for preaching at your pulpit. This one's for carrying with you to funerals and weddings and that sort of thing. I think they have the same paper for both. And then we have text difference. This one is a lot smaller text, but it's easy to read. Just because it's smaller doesn't mean it's not easy to read. I'll zoom in there a little bit and let you see. Still easy text to read. And then this one is a red letter edition. Nice red. Beautiful little red there. Easy to read from. That's super opaque. Paper's easy to turn. Now mine is not the calfskin, but you can get it in calfskin that lays open. And then in the middle, we've got some ministerial helps for weddings and funerals and baptisms and that kind of thing. So this is more of a minister take with you when you need to do ministry work. And this one is more of a preach from your pulpit. Now, I personally, when I'm preaching, I leave the Bible at my pulpit. I don't carry it around with me. Some do, but if you do, you might, I don't think it's too large for that. It just depends on your taste. It is a floppy cover. really soft and floppy. You can fold it around if you wanted to. It's not as floppy as a goat skin, but it's still nice. It's still nice and floppy. And after you break it in, doing the whole, like this and this and this and this, after you do that, you still might need to use it to let it wear in, break in, before it'll stay open in Genesis. But as you can see, I have no issues there with that staying open in Genesis. No problem whatsoever. Staying open perfectly. Now, another Bible that I've preached from is the KJV large print thin line, and I was asked to compare the two. So here's what this one looks like. This one's a little taller. No, it's about the same. Never mind. Just edit that part out of your mind. So it's thinner. It's a lot thinner. This one has thinner paper. I'm not sure of the GSM, but that's a nice GSM though. It's probably 32. Just guessing. Just a complete guess. I don't know what it is. This being a stiffer cover is not going to stay open as well. But it will after you wear it in. And then let's look at our text there. We got red letter. So let's compare. Do a little comparison. So they both have the section headings. They both have wide margins, wide columns. This is better paper for turning, but this is good paper for turning too. I don't mind at all preaching from this guy. This is not as opaque as that one, and it does show under certain lighting. Some lighting doesn't show up as bad, but under my pulpit, it shows up a lot more obvious. And this paper looks excellent under my pulpit. Now, this one has the advantage of having the maps, and that's all. It doesn't have a concordance. It does have 30 Days with Jesus and a reading plan. But, yeah, that's an excellent Bible for preaching, too. This is a larger font, but that's a clean font. That's a nice one. I like preaching from that. And one more. Probably the Bible that it's the most similar to is the KJV Canterbury from Scholar. And this is the calfskin. I love that grain on that calfskin. That's probably my favorite grain on any calfskin ever. I love that. And they both have calfskin covers. This one has the synthetic liner edge lined, and this is just the paste down with the vinyl. And here's how they compare. 36 GSM paper on this one, and then 39 GSM paper on this one, and they're really close as far as font size. This one has a little bit more contrast than this one does. And then this one has the black section headings, where this has the blue. Now this has an advantage in the Psalms. I love the Psalms in this. It's beautiful. I like poetry to look like poetry. Poetry is just beautiful. This is a black letter edition. So if you're preaching from it, if I had this one, they both have the same design as far as the footnotes, or as far as the references in the footer. This one does not have footnotes. This one does. If I had this one, I don't know that I would need this one. But if I was going to buy one, I'll be honest, this is a little easier to use because the paper is not as slick as this one. Although this is more premium paper. And that slickness will go away if you use it enough. I've used it enough that I don't have that slickness so much anymore. But I still find that this gold gilt is easier to use than the art gilt, simply because I'm so conscious of spitting when I preach. I'm one of those preachers that sometimes I don't really spit that much, but I'm always conscious of the possibility. But if it was either or, I don't know which one I would choose. I'm not that good at making choices. But this Bible here, this one has the advantage in having a concordance, and it has the advantage of maps, which I do like. And it also has a glossary in the back, but this has a glossary on the pages where I need them. I'm coming across a word and I don't know what that word means. I can look down here a lot of times. There it is. And it's not trying to tell you change the word in the text to this, but it's trying to give you the idea of what it means in today's English, because words change meaning, and we don't use some of these words anymore. And that doesn't it doesn't help me to read something I don't know what it means. So there it is, and it's easy to see and easy to use. So I like it. I like both. I like both of these, but we'll save that one for a different time. But as a preaching Bible, that's absolutely excellent. for preaching. Now, some prefer to have a little bit wider margins. Some prefer to have a single column with a large column out here. There, different needs, different types. I like all those. I would like to have this in a single column with a wide margin out here. I would also, even if they made that, I would still want this. I like this because this is easier to carry than some of the big, thick, heavy Bibles. And it has exactly what I need. I need the text. I don't necessarily need this so much, but I'm glad it's here. I'd rather it be here than not. Yeah, that's an excellent Bible for preaching. I have no issues preaching from it at all. I don't know it would stay open in the back like it does in the front. But it will once I break it in some more. Once I use it some more. But, yeah, so there's the comparisons. KJV Preaching Bible. Now, one thing I did want to mention is that edge. This paper gets really close to that edge. You can see it there better. It gets really close to that edge. I'm kind of concerned about if it's not, that it might catch. I haven't had any problems. Mine hasn't caught. But I can see that being an issue. But I don't have that problem. But I just wanted to mention it, as a possible thing to consider or think about, because that is really close to that edge, and I do have Bibles that do catch there, not these, but other Bibles that do catch there. So it's something to think about, or something to pay attention to when you do get one. And then there's our red, brown, and blue ribbons. Look really nice. Yeah, this is excellent for carry, excellent for preaching, excellent for reading. If you like to read the verse by verse, which there's room for all of it. I think we need them all designs, all layouts. I think we need them all. So Thomas Nelson did provide this in exchange for an honest review. And if you have any questions, you can leave them in the notes, and I'll place links to the written review with more detail. And thanks for watching. Subscribe, like, and all that. Share around, all that sort of thing. I appreciate it. Thank you very much.